Today, we're diving into one of the most intriguing upcoming souls like WUCHANG, Fallen Feathers. WUCHANG Fallen Feathers is a dark fantasy action RPG set in the late Ming Dynasty in China. But this isn't your typical historical game. The world is twisted by plague, corrupted beasts, and mysterious black feathers raining from the sky. You play as WUCHANG, a female warrior suffering from a strange illness that gives her terrifying power at the cost of her humanity. Think Bloodborne meets Sekiro, but drenched in Chinese mythology. The world is stunning. Gloomy forests, cursed temples, foggy mountain passes, all soaked in dread and decay. The enemy design is straight-up nightmare fuel. Mutated monks, crawling horrors, and twisted giants that look like they crawled out of your worst fever dream. WUCHANG uses a variety of weapons. Sabers, axes, twin blades, with parries, dodges, and brutal finishers all present and accounted for. There's also a transformation mechanic hinted to be tied to the feathers. If they stick the landing on the gameplay and the boss design, this could be one of the best soul-slikes we've seen in a while, maybe even a sleeper gutty. WUCHANG is gonna be epic. This is Hell Is Us, a game where chaos, mystery, and madness collide. Developed by Rogue Factor and published by Nacon, this third-person action-adventure drops you into a war-torn country crawling with supernatural horrors. Combat? It's tight, brutal, and personal. Every swing feels like a decision. In a nation sealed off from the world, you're not just fighting monsters, you're uncovering buried secrets and your own past. Want mystery, freedom, and intensity? Hell Is Us might just be your next obsession.
We were both wrong. They live inside our heads.
In number 8, I have no other than Tides of Annihilation. Tides of Annihilation is an upcoming fantasy action-adventure game developed and published by the Chinese studio Eclipse Glow Games. The game is inspired by Arthurian legend. It follows Gwendolyn, the sole survivor of a siege on London by an outworld invasion, who discovers and wields a mysterious power that enables her to command the legendary Knights of the Round Table. Tides of Annihilation is a fantasy game that blends elements of medieval fantasy with a contemporary setting. For instance, it features battles against bosses who are based on the Knights of the Round Table lore. The game takes place in the modern city of London and the mythical realm of Avalon. It is set in the aftermath of an outworld invasion that devastated and distorted the city. Tides of Annihilation is scheduled to release on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series. The release date has not been announced yet. Are you excited?
Only for the king.
Gwendolyn, this is your final warning.
lies not with you, but I will take back everything that belongs to me. Even if the price is my soul. The table is dead. It exists no more.
Ghost of Yotei is a standalone experience set 300 years after Ghost of Tsushima in 1603 during the Edo period. The game follows Atsu, a lone mercenary haunted by the past, who becomes the Onryo, a spirit of vengeance, to hunt down the Yotei Six, a band of outlaws responsible for her family's death. The story emphasizes underdog vengeance as Atsu explores a vast open world, forging unlikely alliances and discovering a deeper purpose beyond revenge. Ghost of Yotei builds upon the open-world exploration of Ghost of Tsushima, offering even more freedom and variety. Players can choose the order in which they confront the Yotei Six and other dangerous targets, and can learn new skills from Weapons Sensei. The game explores themes of vengeance, redemption, and the search for meaning beyond personal retribution. It also delves into the complexities of a changing Japan, where new power structures are emerging and old ways are being challenged. Ghost of Yotei introduces new weapons and a new musical instrument. Ghost of Yotei, the sequel to Ghost of Tsushima, was undoubtedly the biggest revelation during the recent State of Play showcase. The biggest surprise for many was the developers' decision to leave the story of Tsushima and Jin Sakai behind, instead introducing a new setting and a new female protagonist. While some fans expected Jin to return, this new direction seems like a perfect fit for the Ghost series. It allows the developers to retain the standout features fans loved while offering fresh perspectives, time periods, and regions, much like the Assassin's Creed series. According to the developers, the core pillar of the series is the concept of a wandering warrior in feudal Japan, allowing them to introduce new, original characters and stories with each installment. Before the reveal of Ghost of Yotei, many speculated about the possibility of Ghost of Tsushima 2 reusing the Tsushima and Iki Islands as the setting. Fortunately, the developers opted for an entirely new region of Japan. The exact size of the Ghost of Yotei map is still unknown, but it's expected to be at least as expansive as the territories in the previous game. Based on the trailer, the new areas will be visually stunning, with a variety of environments including snow-covered mountains, dense forests, and bustling settlements. The most striking landmark is undoubtedly Mount Yotei itself, a colossal peak that looms on the horizon as players explore the lands at its base. Lost Soul Aside is an upcoming action RPG game developed by AltaZero Games, a Chinese independent game development firm founded by Yang Bing. The game began as a self-project inspired by Final Fantasy XV, but quickly found popularity due to its graphics-intensive visuals and smooth combat system. Backed by Sony's China Hero project, it is now a proper production with a larger development team. The game is Kaiser's Tale, a single warrior and a living dragon-like friend, Arena. They are connected by a force that cannot be seen, and they trip in a world of kingdoms involved in a war that is inspired by some kind of magic, demonic abilities, and veiled dangers. Kaiser goes on to ask about his past, Arena's past, and the great war that is out to destroy the world. Kaiser's weapon is transformable into different shapes like swords, lances, and projectiles. The two classes possess distinct attack patterns and special powers. Arena introduces special defense and attack moves. The game releases on August 29, 2025 on PC and PS5, so we'll see soon enough.
Never wanted to be a hero. But for humanity's sake, you must.
Then give me your power, Arena.
At long last, Ninja Gaiden 4 received a firm release date during this year's Xbox Games Showcase. With an October launch now set, the upcoming Souls slasher is one of the new games of 2025 you can look forward to very soon. Announced during the 2025 Xbox Developer Direct Showcase, Ninja Gaiden 4 will introduce us to a new martial arts genius from the Raven Clan called Yakumo. While series staple Ryu Hayabusa is still in the story as a playable character, Yakumo will be our primary protagonist this time around, and will be bringing with him a ton of cool new combat features, as well as a new chapter to the long-running series. Change can be scary, but from gameplay footage, trailers, and information from the dev team, we're confident that newcomers and Ninja Gaiden veterans alike will have plenty of reasons to get excited about this. Ninja Gaiden 4 is set in a time period after the events of Ninja Gaiden 3, in an abandoned, futuristic Tokyo that is plagued by chaos caused by the ever-looming husk of the Dark Dragon. Ninja Gaiden 4 is a hack-and-slash action game that will have you battling enemies with furious, colorful flurries and satisfying combos. Developed by Team Ninja and Platinum Games, relentless, fast, but fair combat is the main focus of the game. Players will also get to play as Ryu, who has a vastly different fighting style from Yakumo. This means that there are tons of different ways that players can approach combat and play the game. There are legacy moves for veterans and new moves for everyone to dig into with both characters. Arc Raiders is an extraction multiplayer shooter set in the future. Earth's surface has been taken over by an enemy known as Arc, created by man. Make your way to the surface, find loot, but most importantly, survive and find an elevator to take you home. Arc Raiders is the latest and greatest extraction shooter on the market, or at least it will hopefully be. Announced as one of the two projects Embark Studios were working on years ago, Arc Raiders first had a closed beta in 2024. Following up in 2025, Arc Raiders made a splash on the scene, overtaking the hype of the downtrodden Marathon, which had a simultaneous beta taking place. For many, it was one of the most polished and engaging extraction shooters they had ever experienced. Share similarities with games like Escape from Tarkov, The Division, Generation Zero, and Vigor. It also draws inspiration from Marathon, particularly in its sound design and extraction gameplay. Visually and in terms of gameplay mechanics, some have noted similarities to Star Wars Battlefront and The Cycle. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater is an upcoming remake of the 2004 action-adventure stealth game Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, set to be released on August 28, 2025. It will feature updated graphics, 3D audio, and enhanced environments, while staying true to the original game's story and characters. The remake will include new additions and improvements, such as an updated injury system, new camera angles, and enhanced close-quarters combat options. The game follows Naked Snake, a Fox operative, as he infiltrates Soviet territory in 1964 to rescue a scientist and sabotage a Soviet weapon. The game is set during the Cold War amidst political tensions and espionage. Players will engage in stealth gameplay utilizing camouflage and various weapons to navigate the environment and complete missions. The remake will introduce a more modern third-person over-the-shoulder camera angle and an updated injury system that leaves lasting marks on Snake. The game will be available on PlayStation 5, Windows, and Xbox Series. Fans generally have high expectations for Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater due to the original game's strong legacy. Many are excited to revisit the classic story with updated graphics and potentially improved gameplay, but some express concerns about potential changes to the original's tone and atmosphere. The remake offers a chance for a new generation of players to discover the game and its unique storytelling.
Commencing virtuous mission now.
Crimson Desert is a new action-adventure from Black Desert developer Pearl Abyss. Currently set to arrive later this year, we've gotten to see plenty of gameplay that only makes us all the more excited for what promises to be one of the biggest new games for 2025. Crimson Desert is set to bring us into a high fantasy open-world setting, complete with combo-infused hack-and-slash combat, as we take on the role of protagonist Cliff McDuff. And with more trailers and clips showcases what's in store, we're starting to get an even better picture of the adventure that awaits us later this year. Currently, the Crimson Desert release window is confirmed to be late 2025. Crimson Desert will be available to play on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and Series S once it releases in 2025. This is great news since it means that both PC and console players will be covered for the release. The upcoming game is set on the continent of Pywell, but takes place in the same high fantasy world that Black Desert Online fans are familiar with. According to Pearl Abyss's website, Pywell is a vast but divided continent that you'll have to travel as you take on the role of the mercenary Cliff McDuff. According to Pearl Abyss's website, the new game will also take notes from all the best RPGs that came before it by letting your choices and actions as a player affect the world around you and the overall story of Crimson Desert itself. In my personal opinion, this game looks a lot like The Witcher 3, and that's a good thing. High on Life 2 is the confirmed sequel to the 2022 game, developed by Squanch Games. It will be released on Xbox Series X and S and PC. The game promises a bigger, bolder, and more creative experience than the original, with a focus on innovative combat, visuals, and narrative. High on Life 2 is currently scheduled to release in winter 2025. What sets High on Life 2 apart isn't just the gameplay, it's the relentless, fourth-wall-breaking comedy. Characters reference everything from internet memes to gaming tropes, creating this meta-commentary that's either brilliant or exhausting depending on your tolerance for constant chatter. The world design deserves major props. Each alien environment feels lived in and surreal, filled with NPCs who deliver genuinely funny dialogue and side quests that range from heartwarming to completely unhinged. High on Life 2 succeeds by being unapologetically itself, a chaotic, colorful, and completely unfiltered gaming experience that knows exactly what it wants to be. Whether that's a masterpiece or a beautiful disaster depends entirely on your sense of humor. So, let's get high on Life 2. Beast of Reincarnation is an upcoming action RPG developed by Game Freak. It's described as a one-person, one-dog action RPG with a focus on demanding, technical combat. The game is set in a post-apocalyptic Japan where a mysterious beast has corrupted the land, and players take on the role of Emma, who is accompanied by a canine companion. The game draws inspiration from titles like Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, and Nioh, suggesting a challenging combat system with parrying and dodging mechanics. The game is set to be released in 2026 for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series XS. While Game Freak is primarily known for the Pokemon series, Beast of Reincarnation is their first major AAA title outside of that franchise. And there you have it, the top 10 upcoming games that have me absolutely hyped for the rest of 2025. From mind-blowing sequels to ambitious new IPs, the gaming landscape is about to get seriously exciting. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.
4026年、人類は滅亡を待つのみ。封じ子エマ、お前こそが輪廻の獣を滅ぼす刃となる。